Welcome back, Flutter developers. Welcome to my Flutter channel. In today's video, we will be seeing how to persist a selected theme using shared preference. In this code recipe, I will be using shared preference Flutter plugin to achieve this. So let's get started. This article is the next article in the series of you implementing the themes using provider. So in the last code recipe where we implemented the themes using provider, we just implemented the switching. Let me show you very quick. So this is the code recipe app that I use, and it's like a entry point for pretty much for all the code recipes, and most of the recipes can be started from here, or it could be run independently using just that one file. So in this particular example where cross-platform theming, implementing theming across platforms using provider pattern is right here. So what we did in this video, we implemented the theming and how to switch it from lighter to dark and vice versa. So when we switch from light to dark and we go back and come back in, it doesn't persist the last selected setting. So in this particular code recipe, in today's code recipe, we will be seeing how to persist this selection across the app start, or if it navigates away or the app restarts, how to persist that setting. And we will be using two different ways to do so. One is the shared preference that I will be covering in this video, and the another is using the local database. So I will be using more plugin for that, and that's the next another article that I have written right here. So it's right here is the more plugin, and in that I will be showing you in the next video how to do that, the very similar thing but using the local database. And in this code recipe, I will be showing you how to do that using shared preference. So let's let's see how to do it in shared preference. So as I said, the shared preference will be using shared underscore preference Flutter plugin that you can access, or we can read more about it going to the pub.dev. So pub.dev is the repository of all the plugins where you can find what all Dart packages are available and the Flutter plugins are available. So you have to say put some keyword and it will give you all the things available right there. So in shared preference, it's the across platform. So what does it mean? So it was for Android, it is for Flutter, and that supports Android, iOS, and web. So here in the labeling, you can see which platform this particular plugin is supported. And the another important thing is the ranking of the plugin. So if you see multiple shared preference plugin and their rating is, let's see what's in there. Yes, so as you see shared preference, when I put my keyword shared pref, it gave me a couple of different plugins. So streaming shared preference and so on. And so the way I choose is I see by relevance, like what purpose I will be using it for, and its score. So if it's very similar sounding plugin you find like multiple, then I go by the ranking, the score, like how much score, quality score it has. All right, so that's how you can look into this plugin or any plugin. All right, so next thing, so you can check out the related articles, like this link goes back to the older article that talks about the app structure, how the app code structure is, and the choice is made for it. And this one, the next another article is doing persisting theme using the more plugin or in the local database. So the shared preference plugin is the right here, as we can either look into it or you can go by clicking on here. And there's a one, so just to give you a quick overview of how this app looks like, this app is very simple. as we just saw in the Android app. It has a picture which has a little description right here and has a button which says switch theme. Clicking on it, it toggles the theme between light and dark. So in this code recipe, I have only two themes, light and dark. So you can either persist one or another. However, you don't have to get stuck only at two. You can have multiple themes and you can have theme IDs for that. So I use enums as you see in my old previous article right here. So I used enums for that, my themes light and dark. And theme ID, when I say theme ID, that is the index of this enum. So I say light.index and the name is light.name for that. So I kept it very simple on purpose. And there's one thing I want to point out is the shared preference plugin is actually supports Flutter Web since 0.5.6. So you don't have to do anything different for web in this particular case, which is a great news. So you see, like from 0.5.6, it supports web by default, which is great. So we don't have to write a extra implementation for web. All right, so let's see how we do this now. Like dive into the more implementation details. And here's a pub.spec.yaml. The only plugin that you have to add here is shared preference and the 0.5.6 because this supports web by default. And now how to get entry, like how to access this code. So as you see, there are two ways. One is the code recipe. So this is my code recipe app where I put pretty much all my code recipes here. So here we are talking about the theme caching for shared preference. And the one way is to run this script or this file independently. So if you go, here's the link to the repo, my GitHub repo. And if you go here, this is my code. So at the top, this is the main method is there. So either you can run just going here and running this script, or you can use this app to launch your app. So if you're planning to run as a standalone, then you would like to run your change provider, change notifier provider and themes notifier provider code right here. And if you're doing from the app, you have to add your code in the router dot. I will show in details a little bit later when we switch to the Android Studio. But it's the same code, so either you can write a router if you're accessing from code recipe apps, or you can write in the same standalone file at the top using this pattern. Okay. So now, how do you load themes from shared preference? So in this is my main file. So main file is this one. This is the name has themes underscore shared prefs dot. So in this, you have this is a stateful widgets in the theme shared preference caching. This is my is the stateful widget, and that's the state. So what I do as a first thing is I load my active theme. So whatever is there by default, pre-selected or not. So it loads my active theme. And what happens, like when the material app build is built, it actually the notifier, it picks it from the current theme data. So let's see what's happening in the notifier, the themes notifier. So it's a change notifier, as we have done this whole implementation using the provider. And now the first thing, it has a couple of methods in it. So one is the activate theme, like how I would activate a given theme. So activate means switching to it. So basically what we do is the theme that we want to enable, we pass it in here. We get a instance of shared preference here, right here. And let me turn off this Bluetooth. Okay, so another first we take instance of shared preference right here, and then we use the await because it is synchronous. It writes to the disk shared preference asynchronously. So we have to use it in the async block and use the await keyword right here. And we are just saving the theme ID. So I put it, as I said before, as we are using just the enum and theme.index. Now when I have to load it, that I'm doing in my case right now, I will get an instance of my shared preference, and then I will get my theme ID right here. And if it's not available then by default, I will return the light theme to get started with. And then I set my current theme, choosing from my enums and fetching that value by its ID. And it goes here and it loads my current theme, and finally it notifies the listeners. And that's how this my theme gets built. The widget got rebuilt and it applies the theme. So now when we do the switching, when we click that button switch theme, what happens? So previously we were not really saving our theme, but in this case we actually activating that theme. And what we do, first thing, we toggle the theme, and now next thing what we do is we activate theme. So activate, what we just saw, we save it. So we take an instance of shared preference and then we go ahead and save it into the theme ID index. And the next time, and it gets again, it goes right here, and my theme get the updated. So my current theme got updated right here. So since I set my current theme right here, it actually calls the notifier listeners. So that's how my widget knows this new theme is being applied. And the activate theme is actually saves my theme for the next launch in the shared preference. It saves my setting. Yeah, so that's is a very quick recipe. So that's all was there to for this particular video. And in the next video, we will be seeing how to do the same thing using the local database, using the device SQLite database, and using the More plugin. And as again, the recipe for the source code is available here. Just this file is right here, as you see. And the code recipe for the whole source code, like for this particular app, like is right here. References are right here. So let's dive in quickly into the Android Studio, how we are doing this. So this is my code recipe code right here, and the theme shared preference is right here. So it's in the theme, so I added the two folders for DB and for shared preference, and this is my base old code. So let's get rid of everything. Let's close everything. So this is my older. So I created a similar files for the shared preference and for the DB. So DB will cover in the next video. In this video, let's see how we do it in the shared preference. So this was the notifier, and this is the main code. So as you see here, this code, the independent code, the way to run this particular file independently, I've commented it just because I want to show you how to do this thing on web as well. And so for some reason the web variant doesn't like it unless I route it properly. So I haven't done that setting in here just because I'm using router to do it. My main file is not this, and it's actually in right here. But you have option to run it from either just this file or the whole app. All right. So now here, let's see what we were doing there. So in the first line, we are loading our active theme right here, and in the provider is getting my current theme. So let's get inside my provider, my change notifier. Change notifier has these two themes, theme data, light and dark, and their color theming accordingly. So it starts with my current theme as light and the data as light. And now when I switch it, it switches my current theme and it switches current theme and it notifies right here, as you can see, and it activates it right here. Again, it's very quick. It's the shared preference is the write asynchronously, and it uses the await keyword and the async block, and it updates by data. And load active theme, it gets the ID from here. So this code is very simple, and I just wanted to show you, just to sake of familiarity with this code, that it's the same code that's in the GitHub repo. And I will see you in the next video going over this database implementation. Till then, thank you. I'll see you in a bit.